very, very, very important. Very, very, very important stuff for me to use to terminate properly this video. The individual who came to pick me up, and sure enough, I am referring about this kind of stuff. This is going to be part number 2. Therefore, I am referring about this fungi issue with my father and with the neighbor, Dr. Igor Kotar, in 2020, when hijacked from Poland, from Gdanska hostel to Slovenia. That's what they injected me with. It appears it could be they broke the nail so they would appear like this.
So I've
I
decided
have no fucking idea
to cut this away
why
anyways.
he would go with the needle all the way to the end of the nail. Why he would be doing this kind of stuff. Neighbor Dr. Igor Kotar. Repeatedly this kind of stuff.
And then it's going to be a problem.
I have no idea. Yeah? So what matters here right now is that you understand that I stated the individual who came to pick me up had a silicone mask of Prince William. What I'm trying, let me introduce to you. Pick me up, so we headed to London on that opportunity. They loaded me on a plane, took me to London, to Britain. That was either a police officer, I would say most likely was a police officer with the full permission to do such a stuff, but Prince William, by the Buckingham Palace, by the royals from London, they acted absolutely in accordance, with absolute agreement with one another. The police not here to help, police here to fuck me. The police is banana, salt, purchased like a bananas by the Buckingham Palace. They paid few bucks here to buy the police. The police willing to fucking throw themselves under the fucking truck for the royals from London here in Slovenia. That's a Slovenian police here. This is garbage that will go against you. Even if you're native from here, shit is gonna run into you. They'll take responsibility. They'll fucking take whatever the fuck it is. But I'll tell you, since '95, they worked together completely in agreement with one another under no circumstances. No way would police use silicone masks without full permission of London for any opportunity whatsoever, as well as use a silicone mask if representing Joe Biden was the case was, as I described. Therefore, American president, no way they would perform anything. The only way exclusively they would do something is with a full permission, with completely in agreement from the other party, or I should say, in most cases, on their behalf. If they could not attend here or whatever, that's what they would do. You understand? He loaded me. He would come to pick me up. This shit happened. It always was from the area of Berger, Kotar, from that street is when he would come here. Claimed to me that they, whoever the fuck that was, or I don't think that was a real Prince William, also stays there with his families in the back of in this street, in the back of our house, that they have apartments where they stay. They did, MK Ultra Club members did, but I don't think that Prince William would go and do the stuff like this. Why he wouldn't stay here in this house instead? I mean, I find this hard to believe but if they're in such a great agreement that he was actually staying at Kotar, at these people here, that's completely fucked up. Then I'm gonna say to London, fuck you, you didn't even bother with it. That's like a climax of bullshit. That person that looked like Prince William in 2020, as he took me to the airport, then they transferred me to the London, from here, from Slovenia to London, literally to Buckingham Palace. That individual, most likely was a police officer. They did have a silicone masks for these people, and they fought for these roles with the neighbors. Neighbors were eager at times to put this shit on their heads. So I just want to be very, very detailed what exactly happened that day. So I remember everything. The individual As I came enough to senses to understand what went on with the Kotar, with Dr. Igor Kotar, and with my father right there in front of me, I expressed a protest to this individual who appeared to be like Prince William. And he said, "Oh, that," he said, "what happened?" And then he was like, "Oh, that, well, he shouldn't do. He shouldn't really do that kind of stuff. He shouldn't really do that kind of stuff." So it's also a question that then appears, that also opens up, because it's about the silicone masks. Who the fuck was this individual right there in front of me? Was this really my real father? Or could it be that also somebody else had a silicone mask in front of him? That's also a question now that opens up right there. Because it's not difficult to know that dummy, although my father is as criminal as it gets, will subject himself to this type of mistreatment. But because the silicone masks, I'm having a second thought about this stuff. Was it actually he actually did this stuff, that was in his interest to do this, or was it somebody else from the police station that also bothered the silicone mask from my father on that occasion? That's also a good question. All in all, I don't know what kind of police the fuck is this. Police certainly was the one. Police certainly is the one that transfer you, that arranges the transfers and does such transfers. These are interstate transfers. You don't go with Jose or Ivan or whoever on a plane, drugged up, sit with him, and you're taken to Kalahari. It just doesn't happen like this. It's a police that does the stuff like this. It's MI5. It's police that does, the only one that does stuff like this. These are interstate agreements, strictly. You just don't do this stuff like this. It just doesn't happen. Most likely, yes, that was my father. Most likely was. But because of what I stated, it would be good to know whether that person that was in front of me and just wanted for me to acknowledge that he is the one who wants me to be infested with his fungus, actually was my father. As I stated, also possibility exists that something was done, maybe even with the same fungus that they have introduced to me already before in the past. I was injected with by Dr. Igor Kotar. However, under no possibility, under any circumstances, can I doubt for a single second, for a single moment, that the sharp pain which at times I have felt was, and the needle, whatever he was sticking inside of my finger all the way to the end, that kind of stuff was not the real product of the real work of Dr. Igor Kotar. That I cannot absolutely doubt about that. It's also possible it's the same kind of fungus, and they pushed all the way, that he pushed all the way toward the beginning of the nail. That's a possibility in it. We know who was playing with this kind of fungus. That's a possibility. Next to the possibility that he actually introduced fungus from my father to that to that leg, to that finger. However, no way can be possibly denied that it was Dr. Igor Kotar that was forcing down my finger's fungus. Possibly the same fungus like I already had and I have on the both feet, on the both legs. That's a possibility. That's actually really, really a strong possibility. So that I would come to father and accuse him and this and that, and then it would be police that would demonstrate, well, but you already had. This is exactly the same kind of fungus you already had before. Yeah, there is actually possibility. There is actually possibility it's the same kind of fungus. However, you cannot fucking deny that you pushed one if it's the same fungus. That you actually pushed one with a needle, with the needles all the way at the beginning of the nail. That's something you're not going to be fucking denying. You're not going to be denying that you wanted to have a circus during my visit to father inside of the home for elderly people. I just want to be very, very detailed about this whole thing. Silicone masks and that kind of stuff, yeah. 2020, Charles took me to India. Charles took me to India. Kudos to Charles. Kudos to Charles. He took me to India. Prince Charles. During abduction, in Grotniki Asylum, actually, this was not inside of the Grotniki Asylum. I was already out. Oi, oi. No, to me this stuff is not funny. I don't, this kind of stuff, sausage fingers and stuff like this, this is sick. This is mentally ill stuff. There is nothing funny about his medical condition. It actually worries me. I do not wish stuff like this to anybody. I had no reason whatsoever that I would want. It's a very serious health condition he suffers from. I certainly hope that he will be okay with his medical condition as he suffers. He claimed that I was actually insensitive, that together with the William, I did not pay attention to his health problems, which is actually a really dirty way to say, filthy thing to say, because when you say to somebody with such a severe problems, like my problems were, you just enduring this kind of problems, I don't actually find this in I don't know how you can do this stuff. I do not know. But what you see here, it actually took place in 2019. It says here November the 14th, 2019. That's also when they hijacked me from Poland. He had me aboard of this plane as the first one during MK Ultra procedure, and bitched at me that his fingers are swollen and he is doing this for me, that he's gonna help me out, and I don't know what the fuck. But the thing is that he should have done this way earlier, I felt, and it was already time when my spine was broken. I was not a happy customer. I figure out who exactly was behind this spine breaking procedure, who financed this procedure in Poland. I was not a happy one. And really, the purpose of his trip was nothing other than to demonstrate his medical condition to me. That was extremely, extremely low. I found that like extremely, like a new low for Charles. The way he conducted himself was extremely, extremely inappropriate. Then they orchestrated to me in the United States of America something really, really, really filthy. It was even more backstabbing. They counted on I'm going to come up with the news, which they have released in 2021, the beginning of 2021, is what they orchestrated to me in the United States of America, an opportunity as well. Believed with certainty I'm going to go for it. As something I thank for, but I have to decline that invitation. This orange people, and my favorite orange color, orange people in India is what I'm talking about. They were the people that were involved since '95, and they apparently pledged on how they're going to be the one helping me out. But when I was brought finally with him to India, it was nothing other than bitching with Indian people, even insisting me that they're not going to help me out, the way I mistreat him, and I don't know what, and tra la 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 la. Yeah, if my pockets were deep, if I had a lot of money, Indian people, I bet, would not have a problem helping out. Yeah, if you have a good pockets, if you have deep pockets with a lot of money, with a lot of cash in it, trust me, you become so quickly credible and you become so quickly attention-worthy individual, like you possibly could not believe. So that's all I want to say in respect to this video. Truthful disappointment. This is where they rush me after what I stated, and I really doubt the person that acknowledged that I was just injected with a fungi on the mentioned tooth nail was actually a real Prince William. The silicone mask from Prince William from the street that appeared in the street in the back of our house already go back for some time. They go back all the way to 2015. 2015 is when they introduced those masks into this scenario. If anything, what the Slovenian police did with this, with such action, I got to say that, if anything they did, they helped British monarchs to tint evidence. You know, you have authentic people involved in it, and when you present this kind of degree of corruption and the silicone masks, the case become to a certain degree dirted. You dirt the evidence, you pollute the evidence, basically like this. And when police takes responsibility for such stuff, you no longer can absolutely think about any fucking police. You're talking about the terrorists here. It's a terrorism. This is a terrorism. It's a crime. It's a real crime. It's a real terrorism. The Slovenian police is not Slovenian. It's not a police. It's a fucking terrorist. It's a terrorism. Not happy about conduct of Slovenian police. Burglarizing, destroying the stuff, causing damage, polluting evidence, sparking real health concerns, contributing as many problems as possible, does not go into the area of the police work.